What is up, Giovanni JJ back here from Run Pure Bets, here to talk a little Major League Baseball on Memorial Day of all days. Look at this. Webcam's all fucked up. What's up, Easy? So Monday, May 30th. Hope you guys are all enjoying your hopeful day off. Maybe some of you are working, maybe getting that time and a half or whatever. But regardless, hope you're all enjoying it. The weather's beautiful over here in the Northeast. Hope it's similar around where you are as well. So yesterday's show ended up a bit of a loss. It was nice on my end to grab a little bit of profit with my own bets on the show. So, a live show profit weekend for me again, which is good. And obviously the solo plays have been good as well. But I figure, we'll just wrap it into do another live show here. Had a few games to talk through, so the show won't be that long. But got some good matchups, I think. At least I like some of the things I'm seeing here on the board. And we've had some entertaining games early on, right? You always get the wind, Wrigley wind, right, and how it impacts things. And you've certainly had some balls fly out in that park today. Even had a few home runs in Detroit. Again, warm weather. St. Louis is warm weather. There were just some recent runs there. All around, runs, as the cool kids say. So I guess let's just slide on in, right? All right, so Phillies Giants to 405. Kyle Gibson, Logan Webb. I actually bet Phillies first 5 money line here at plus 100. I got that at DK. I'm wondering if a better number exists now. I bet that a few hours ago. I'm wondering if, because I would assume Giants money is probably coming in here. Philly never gets respect in these spots. However, the spot is a pretty decent one. Why did I click it and then it doesn't? I'm just trying to look at because based on this full game line at 125, this actually should be a better first half line now. Let me see. Oh no, it's still minus 1 off. Oh no, yeah, it's plus 100. Phillies plus 100. Okay, so Phillies first 5 plus 100. Plus 100. That's at DK. Again, maybe a bit of weight on it, get an even better price. Just because I would expect even more Giants money to come right before the game starts. But needless to say, I love the spot. I mean, Kyle Gibson is as good as it gets at home. His home road splits are really good. Logan Webb, something's going on with him. Strikeouts are down, walks are up. And he just hasn't been the same pitcher. And he's going to be tested by a Philly lineup today. Now, the interesting thing with Webb is that he's really good, or he's often very good against right-handed bats. Now, we know Philly has a lot of right-handed bats. But they also have some lefties, right? They seem to stack some at the bottom. Obviously, Schwarber, Harper at the top, and then Moniak and Stubbs at the bottom, and even Camargo. So they gave a few lefty bats there. Needless to say, what was it? Urias home run? Hard to tell. So either way, I think that when you look at both these lineups and Gibson at home, I think it's a juicy spot behind him. I didn't want to go full game because I didn't want to touch the pens or mess with the pens. But needless to say, it's like I said, it's juicy spot all around. Hard not to like. I mean, from my end, Philly anyway. I mean, again, to me, Philly should be favored in this spot. Instead, I can get them as a pick 'em at plus 100. So happy to do it. And obviously in Philly, you get the warm weather today. Ball's likely to carry. Gibson's going to aim to get ground balls. And look, Logan Webb, I believe, often gets ground balls too. But Philly's got a lot more firepower in the lineup today versus what's going on in San Fran or in San Fran's lineup. So overall, love the spot. First 5 though, I don't want to mess with the pens. So yeah, that was what I bet. Next game up, Athletics Astros, Framber Valdez and Mr. Blackburn for the Athletics. Blackburn's had quite a start to his season. Granted, a little bit of smoke and mirrors. Total here 7.5. What I find interesting is this total being steamed up. These are two good arms. I mean, Framber Valdez, here's the thing. He's almost like borderline of Mr. Consistency here in many ways. If you look down his game logs, the dude just typically rakes with consistency, and quality starts is like his thing. And look, who's going to really test him in Oakland here? Now, granted, I do prefer when a right-handed pitcher goes up against Oakland because they just have so many right-handed bats. But Framber Valdez is still pretty good on righties, and it would be hard to imagine he struggles in this spot. He could, but it would be tough to fathom, especially since he's just been so good throughout the entire season. Actually, he's been good for a few years going back now, and he doesn't get any attention on this Stros rotation. But He's been great. And look, Blackburn's been good. My issue with Paul Blackburn is regressions en route. And can he consistently get the outs he's been getting? Me personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Paul Blackburn, but and this is a tough ask of him in this spot too, right? But here's the thing, though. To me, the line's fair, right? Well, minus 160 here makes sense. It forces you to lay a little vig first five if you're going to drop the half run with the Astros. And overall, this game likely plays lower. Like I said, that's why I was surprised to see this getting steamed up. I don't think it's that warm in Oakland. So it's not. It's like 65. So interesting. I think this game plays lower. I didn't like it enough to want to bet it, but I guess we'll see how that plays out. But needless to say, I'm off the game. Rockies, Marlins. My man Pablo Lopez gets a tough road start here in Colorado against Ryan Feltner. Miami minus 150, total 10.5. Pablo Lopez has not been himself the last few starts. Maybe he progresses to the mean, but is he going to progress to the mean in Coors Field on a 65-degree day? I don't know. I think that Pablo Lopez is getting a ton of respect here. That's what I truly believe. That's why I bet. I bet the Rockies first 5 grab and a half run. Just want to see what that line is currently. This might be a better line now as well. Let me see. Rockies. Actually, the line hasn't moved much from when I bet it. It is innings. Yeah, so it's first 5 plus 100. What did I get? I got minus 105. So, yeah, it moved a bit, but actually moved in other people's direction. I know it's a tough bet to make, right? Because you're going to fade Pablo Lopez against a guy in Feltner who isn't really truly proven. He's had back-to-back good starts, but it's hard to really fathom what it means. But I do like, when we compare these lineups against one another, I do like what I have from the Rockies today. And granted, the Marlins have been good, I guess, but they have been. I mean, overall, I guess they've been good, but they haven't exactly been good over the last recent stretch. And we know when Colorado gets home, their bats come alive. And again, I just have not liked what I've seen from Pablo Lopez. I think he's getting a tremendous amount of respect in the spot without much justice. So, and look, the Rockies are going to throw some lefties at him. We know Pablo is super good against righties, but there's 3 or 4 lefties mixed in the middle here, and still have some live bats from the Rockies as well. And we know how much better they are at home. I don't want any piece of the Rockies bullpen knowing it's one of the worst in the league. So this is another spot where I do prefer first 5. So I bet Rockies first 5. I got it minus 105, but you guys can actually get it at plus 100. Marlins plus 0.5, plus 100. And that was at DK. Again, you guys know by now, I don't ever fade Pablo Lopez at home, but on the road, I'm happy to do so. He is a different pitcher, and he hasn't exactly been himself either these last few starts. Not sure putting this live shed, but I'm at this game in Oakland. It's around 70. Little wind seems like it's going out. So I think that when I looked up weather, it looked like it was about 65, and maybe the real feel might be a little different for you. But even still, like, that is just a gigantic park with 2 good arms. Like I said, to me, the total seems high at 7.5. But look, you still have live bats for Houston. You still get a bunch of righties up against Valdez. So, we've seen crazier, that's for sure. So needless to say, I appreciate the info, Brad, and we could definitely see ball carried out of there today. It's just not something that's happened really much all year on a consistent basis. Guardians and Royals, Zach Plesac, and the young kid Heasley, who is a strikeout monster in the farm system, but my man John hasn't really been that here. However, this is a tremendous amount of respect for Zach Plesac. But I cannot bet I don't want to back Heasley in this spot either. Guardians, especially Jose Ramirez, have really kind of found their stride recently with the sticks. They've gotten a little healthier too, which has helped. Royals have been tough to watch this year. I will say this: a total of 10 at Progressive is a massive number at this field. I know you don't exactly have the best pitchers matchup here, and I know it's warm, but man, this is what did I put? Marlins plus 5? Oops, sorry guys, I bet Rockies. I put the plus, so hopefully nobody did anything silly. Good take, Eternal. Yes, Rockies. Sorry, guys. Rockies plus 5, plus 100. Plus 0.5, plus 100. So anyway, so this game. This is, I always say about park dimensions and totals, this is basically where this park caps off at. I'll be honest, I'm sure there's been 10.5 totals at this park at times. I personally haven't seen them or can't remember them. But I would assume it's going to be pretty warm in Cleveland. 82, probably wind blown out as well. But man, that is just such a big number for this park. So easy stay away for me on both sides as well. I don't respect the Plesac much, but to me, I'd cover this about 150. So don't love anything on this game in particular. Red Sox Orioles. The Red Sox just continue to hit, and yet they still sit 2 games under 500. Rich Hill, journeyman lefty, which kudos to him. He hasn't gotten a blister this year yet, so impressive stuff from him, I guess. Tyler Wells, it's hard to make out or hard to make of what we've seen from him thus far. The data's been okay, I guess. Not fantastic, but okay. Tough ask of him walking into the hottest sticks in baseball. Just seems like the Red Sox are hitting everybody. Problem with the Red Sox, though, is right they do all their damage from basically 1 through 5. Even, I guess occasionally they get a little contributions from like Vasquez and Jackie Bradley and what's this, Bobby Plawecki, I think. But needless to say that the bulk of their production comes from the obvious top 5-6 bats. And in relation to this game, I don't love anything about it. I think part of me wanted to target the O's team total over, but I know for a fact I'm not going to make money long term betting the O's to go over 5 runs against any starter. So that's why I didn't do it personally. But it's nothing against the O's sticks today, because I think they're going to be very live. I think Rich Hill's obviously not going to get a whole lot of strikeouts, and the O's problem is really how often they strike out, especially with runners in scoring position. But they've been moving guys around with runners in scoring position, and they've been hitting the ball really well. Look, I'm going to be honest. They've been hitting the ball really well all year. They've just been terrible, absolutely abysmal with runners in scoring position. So that's starting to median itself out, but it's a big number here. Now, this park in Boston, totals can get to 10.5, 11 here. So 10's not like super, super high. It's not like the ceiling. But again, to ask the Orioles to get 5 runs today, they could. It's just, if you're going to bet the Orioles over every time their team total is 4.5, it's just hard to fathom you profiting this season. Kind of like when I say with the Reds, whenever the Reds are minus 110 on the money line, I just can't imagine you're going to make money this year betting them every time they're minus 110 on the money line, or anytime you're paying VIG with the Reds this year because they're that bad. Because similar example. So anyway, I'll just move on. Mets Nationals. Eric Fetty and David Peterson going head to head here. Mets minus 185, total 8.5. Now Peterson is good. The Nats have finally found something with the sticks, I guess. But what's so difficult here in this game is, does Peterson deserve a 185 line? He's good, but he has some woeful starts sometimes. And granted, this is more because of how well the Mets are playing, and the Nats are, one of the bottom feeders. But man, it's just giving him a ton of respect here. Not enough where I wanted to fire on the Nationals in any regard. They're just not a team I enjoy betting on for some obvious reasons. Warm weather tonight in the park. Ball likely travels. We know Fetty's a fly ball pitcher. Obviously, if some of these balls get into the air, they could carry out. But needless to say, I think this line's relatively fair. I think the Mets are getting a little too much respect here, about 10 to 12 cents, but not enough for me to want to fire. 8.5 total feels a little low, but again, we know this park doesn't exactly play well to hitters, so 8.5 is probably fair where it should be. So I'm just going to move on. Interesting though, didn't I? Oh, here we go. So this is the game. Okay. I'm not going to touch on the Cubs-Brewers game too, because again, I don't know what lineup's going to look like. I don't know what bullpens are going to look like. So I'm just going to stay away in that respect, as I often do with doubleheaders game 2. Rangers-Rays. This was a bet I fired on, so I just want to see what this current number is. This should not have moved much, to be honest. Yeah, so 3.5, 110. What did I get? 3.5, 110. Okay. So I bet the Rangers team total here over 3.5 runs at minus 110. I know Rasmussen's been okay. Maybe better than okay. I watch him pitch, and I feel like the dude gets himself out of so many jams. And needless to say, this Rangers team, and I've said this over the last few days as well, with all these acquisitions, is finding their stride with the sticks. Now, this is a tough matchup for them, but you are getting a warm game in Arlington. Now, they might shut the roof here. It's not that warm, though, so I don't think they will, but they could. On the other side, Otto, look, he could pitch well. He likely won't. I just don't want to handicap that end of things. But I do know what we've gotten from these Ranger sticks recently has been refreshing to say the least. You got a bunch of guys in this lineup hitting. Seager's seemingly been on fire. Simeon's finally found his stride. You just have guys in this lineup that are really doing damage, really all around. And Garver has sat for a few days with an injury. The other catcher, John Himes, been great. The dude's a monster. He's like 6'7". And Cole Calhoun, like, just I don't know how this dude ends up going from team to team. It just seems like wherever he goes, he produces at a marginal level. And granted, it's not like epic, but the price to get him isn't expensive. And it just seems like he goes through these hot streaks every year on some team, in the middle to the bottom of the order. So he's been really hot as well. Again, you just have a team that's hitting really well. I get a soft number here at 3.5. I know the Rays have a good pen. I know Rasmussen's been good. I just like how much foot traffic the Rangers have been getting game in and game out. And granted, they've had actually, I can't even say they've had like a clunker. I mean, you're talking 5 runs, 11, 8, 4, 7. And then even in the Angels series where they started, where I guess the stick started to come alive a bit, 3 runs in the game and then 7. Again, this team is getting a lot of foot traffic. They're being very patient at the plate. They're getting a soft number here versus a Rays team that's like going to be a chalky bet in general for folks. So yeah, love the spot for the Rangers to play some runs today. So those are the 3 bets I made. But I'll talk to these last 2 games. So Diamondbacks, Braves. Actually, did I type that in the chat? No, I did not. Rangers, team total over 3.5. -1. Give me a lean on a player to get a hit today. I'm at 21. I'll tell you this, Bobby. If you're doing this, what's up, Danny? If you're doing this, I mean, it's hard not to want to target somebody from the Marlins specifically. I don't know how the streak works. I don't know much in reference to what where this is in terms of the beat the streak. But, if you can if you can pick any player, to me, Jazz Chisholm's in a great spot today to get a base hit. So I would go with him. Again, I don't know what the rules are, what have you, but if I had to pick one player today to get a hit, I think Chisholm's in a great spot. But that goes without saying, right? It's not like an outlandish hot take. Glad to hear it, Jordan. Glad to hear you hit that yesterday. I was going to bet Giants won every full game. You talked me off. Bro, Phillies don't have the hotter bats already. Yeah, I mean, look, Giants could play well today. Giants could win the game. I prefer them for first 5, the Phillies. Okay, so Diamondbacks, Braves, Zach Gallen. And here's the interesting thing with Strider. And they mentioned this on the DFS show this morning. Spencer Strider has absolutely filthy stuff. The guy is I don't know how much you guys have watched him pitch, but like his strikeout rate is just like insane. I don't know how long he's going to go in this game. I know they have called him up recently. I know he went 46 pitches in his last start. But this dude's good. This dude's hashtag good. 24 innings, 37 Ks. Throws absolute smoke, and it's just very difficult to hit. So he's likely going to be a really good pitcher in this league. Obviously he's not there yet, seemingly, but he likely will be. So on the other end, you get Zach Gallen. I know this total's 8.5. It will be warm in Arizona, so they will likely close the roof. Here's my problem with this game. Part of me wanted to bet the over because of how the Braves are starting to really come together. Their lineup's one of the scariest in baseball. And the Diamondbacks can hit at times. I just think this is going to be a game with a lot of strikeouts, more than likely anyway. Granted, for that to happen, you would need an ump that's going to at least give you corners and such. But Strider's really good. Gallen's really good at finding outs, whether they're a strikeout or of course, getting ground balls. But I think it's a tough ask for both these pitchers today in Arizona. However, they are very good, and they will likely be able to get themselves out of jams if they find themselves in them. So I opted to stay away. The line makes sense for why Atlanta's favored slightly. You get the better lineup. And with where this kid Strider's at with his career, you may very well be getting the better pitcher as well. And you also likely get the better bullpen in the Braves. So you're getting it all for a low price of -120. I don't love these spots in particular with a young kid where you're laying vig on the road. That's why I didn't fire on it personally. But yeah, I mean, again, if I was going to bet this game, I would bet the game over at 8.5. But the pitchers do scare me in this matchup, and their K rate scares me as well, especially Strider. So I ended up staying away. Dodgers, Pirates, Walker Buehler, who is slowly but surely churning together another good season. Zach Thompson has not been very good, but no starter for Pittsburgh has been very good, so it's not like that's saying much. I will say this with Walker Buehler. The amount of traffic he finds himself the amount of traffic that finds themselves on the bases when he's pitching is a little alarming. Granted, again, he's another pitcher that's been getting himself out of jams. But with a whip up in your 1-3, he's people are getting on base against him. I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be the team that really, causes him issues, though. At least you wouldn't think. However, this line's minus 345. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people will cap this or add this to parlays with something. But yeah, not myself. And as you guys know, I don't really bet many Dodger games at all. Total of 8 makes sense. The Dodgers could score this themselves theoretically. Probably won't, but can. And on the Pirates end, are they going to get to Bueller a bit? Maybe not. But it's a stay away spot for me. You're going to get a decently warm game in LA. But that often plays more like a pitcher's park anyway. So yeah, easy stay away from me all around. Okay. So, I actually was just on the phone with them about 20 minutes ago. I don't blame you, Jordan, on the Atlanta call. Again, I like the young kid. I don't like betting young kids like that as road favorites. So that was why I didn't do it myself. Phillies money line first 5 Ranger team total bet MGM. Yeah, good work, Eternal. Eternal got you guys all where the juiciest numbers are for the plays I gave out. So love to see it. Thank you. What's up, Rob? Any player, thanks. Yeah, I would. Like I said, Jazz Chisholm would be my guy. But that's not important when you have a decent edge. Prefer to have it though. Rangers might not have 9 at bats since they're home. So I always factor this in. Typically, when I bet home team totals over, they're typically decent sized underdogs when I do it. Just because I feel a little more comfortable that I get my 9 at bats. But you're right. That's why I don't do it much. I don't do it much to teams that are favored. I do prefer to get my 9 at bats, but do realize it is into the number, or melted into the number a bit, right? Because they basically that last at bat's worth about 20 cents. But again, when you're an underdog, they don't exactly pad it that way. So either way, but no, it's a good point. It's a good point for sure. Okay, so that wraps it up, folks. The 3 bets I made today were, where were we? Phillies first 5 money line, plus 100. Rockies first 5 plus a half run, plus 100. And Rangers team total over 3.5 minus 110. May the odds be ever in our favor. And now this is a good point. Holder just crushes with the guaranteed wins, right? It's starting to become impressive. But folks, look, enjoy the rest of your Memorial Day weekends, whether you're family, friends, or just, home doing your thing. Enjoy it. Beautiful weather. And look, as always, gamble responsibly, stay safe, and yes, run pure. I'll catch you guys in a few days on the golf show.